what all steps the schools are taking to reduce the attrition rate, because what all measures we need to take to actually to reduce this attrition rate. I am saying that we cannot stop it, but we can reduce it to a certain extent.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure being here. I've been hearing the previous two speakers and very happy to hear some of the inputs they've given. And the answer of attrition, I think, lies largely in what they have said, because to deal with, how to stop attrition, first we must know the causes of attrition. First of all, like Dr. Singh said, that teaching, how to attract good teachers, we're not getting good teachers. I have a little point to make here. We are a transitional society, whereas this profession is concerned. If you notice, little children, when they play, the first game they play is teacher, because that's the time they idolize the teachers. And then teacher and doctor is only the two games children play. Either they want to become a teacher or a doctor. Nobody, I don't think I've, seen a child play engineer or, a lawyer, or these kind of professions. So these are, professions which come first in their mind. But gradually what happens? Because as they grow up in the 8th, 9th, 10th, when I go to the classes, actually nobody wants to become a teacher. So I sometimes wonder, what happens. This is not only about money and not only about, the perks and everything that the corporate sector gets. It is about the image of teachers in society. So first of all, I think overall, the image of teachers is not yet. It is growing, it is becoming better, but by and large, we take our teachers for granted. It's not thought of as a very high-flown profession, or kuch nahi banega, teacher ban ja. So for that to come up in society, more professionalism has to come into the teaching profession, which gradually is coming in. But again, the flip side is that, like you said, females come in the teaching profession more, because it suits their, environment. Females are, homemakers. Again, society is changing. The homemaker, tag is no more with the females only. At least in the urban world, it is changing. Men are helping out at home. So once this, I think, partnership comes up, there will be no gender boundaries left in any profession. And since teaching is favored by women, as long as it is, I think somewhere to maintain the fabric of society also, we have to make it very female friendly at the moment, because still homemaking is a woman's job. Now, if we want this talented lot, 50% of our population, to come into professions like teaching, which they do fantastically well, there have to be certain considerations which have to be allowed to them. And now when teaching is becoming more equivalent to a corporate job, more and more teachers are getting off teaching. Because you see, when a young girl passes out of school or college, what are her options? If she wants a great salary, a very flamboyant life, she wants to enter the corporate sector. I won't say, she doesn't want a dedicated life, because women opt to be doctors. So if she can neglect her home, if she can put in those many hours to become a doctor, she can jolly well become a teacher also. But yet women are not taking it up. So that is, I think, what we have to look at, because attrition is also because we do not think of what is wrong with our whole system of employment. So first of all, employing employable teachers is very important. When we take on teachers, it's not just about, degrees. It's not just about, her subject matter. It is about attitudes. How do we test attitudes? In interviews, during interviews, how much, these days there are people who are training you to go for the interview. So people do wonderfully well in interviews. When they actually come to school, you find they lack the attitude or the passion for teaching. So this is, how to judge that. So these kind of assessment techniques have to be developed. Mostly, attrition occurs because you've chosen the wrong teachers. So after a year or so, you realize, oh, that's not the right teacher. So either you want to throw her out, or you tick her off so much that she wants to get out. So that is a major cause of attrition. Then, of course, competition, because there are fewer teachers, fewer good teachers. I won't say teachers. There are many, many teachers available. But fewer good teachers, every school in that particular area wants them. What is wrong? I mean, if I am a good teacher, I must get the best school. Now, best school for me to judge should be your school. So for you to retain me, you must be the school I want. So for that, we have to see what is it a teacher requires. Also, we should try not lose teachers to other careers by making it more attractive. And first of all, I think educating society and parents. These days, I think a lot of times teachers don't want to become teachers because of the parents' interference and the way education is treated. Parents put their children in school, they pay the fee and they feel कि अभी IIT में निकलना चाहिए. You know, it doesn't happen that way. So now we are, becoming so mercenary about education that we've forgotten that guru-shishya relationship totally. I see teachers actually very, very involved, very concerned. And they are the ones who are getting after children, complete your work, do well. I see my teachers, late at night, 9:30, 10:30, 11 at night, sending out, notes to children. Tomorrow is your assignment. Please submit it. How dare they? I mean, who told us that, submit your assignments? We were the ones going up to the teachers, please correct our assignments. These days, no more. Because, it's considered that the students, study as if they're doing a favor to the teachers. So these kind of mental attitudes in society have to change. Now, how to retain teachers? First of all, like I said, you must be the school I want to go to if I'm a good teacher. So what do I expect? Salary, of course, is one major issue. But it's not just the salary, because in our school, we are not paying the best. Whatever we can, we do. But it's not really the best. But yet, there is no attrition because of money. No teacher has ever left my school because she's being offered a job elsewhere with a higher salary. Because they don't weigh it with the salary. How much difference would it be? 1,000, 2,000, and you can't keep a tab of schools. So, people are luring you with that much. Now, it's really not the salary, it's a work culture. A teacher should feel respected. A teacher should feel the freedom. This is one thing that the schools don't give you. Most schools don't give you, most of you are from fantastic schools in urban areas. So I'm not talking about them. You have your own work culture, very good. But I belong to a B-class city where I see, various kinds of school. Work culture is what is lacking there. They don't give you the freedom. They don't listen to you. If I am made in charge of shaping the future of a generation, give me that freedom to decide how I'll teach. You've taken me, you've employed me, you think I'm good. Still, why don't you give me the freedom? This is why finally I left teaching. I mean, I was so disappointed with this whole system that every time you're supposed to do what you're told to do, you should be able to experiment. You may go wrong, but the sincerity is there. You want to try something new. You may go very right. You may innovate, but nobody gives you that kind of freedom. And this is, I think, what my teachers enjoy. Because what I didn't get in my career, I give it to them. So this is the major reason that they love being in this school. Secondly, like Dr. Sarita also said, these are not cliches. These are realities. Teaching is not a job. It is a calling. So how many of us think, I was not, I didn't want to become a teacher. I became a teacher by default. But then I warmed up so much that now I'm passionate about it. So sometimes you develop this passion. It's not always inborn. Secondly, when I see freshers from colleges, they want to change the world. They are so enthusiastic. And we kill it. We kill it little by little. Either by paperwork, they're made into clerks, most of them, because so much of filling of forms, all this paperwork goes on in teaching. I want to go to class, I want to teach. When I'm, supposed to fill in 101 forms and, send this to CBSE, that to CBSE, it kills me. So these are the kind of things which I think will reduce attrition, because it's like being a scientist. You tell a scientist to do a clerk's work, obviously not going to innovate. Teacher is a scientist because a teacher is discovering, a teacher is molding. So these kind of roles, we should understand what they are, and the CBSE or any board. They lay so many restrictions on you, even as a principal, even as a director. You have made me, you know that I'm going to shape, 1,000+ students every year. And then you tell me what to do, you tell me how to appoint teachers, you tell me that I don't know, whether a teacher has a teaching attitude or not. I must go by the degrees you provide from third-class colleges. I must take that on paper. So that really angers me. And since this is a platform which reaches the government, they must at least, I don't say the country can run on it, you got to have rules, but at least, recognize schools where good work is being done and allow them, don't treat everybody on the same level. This kind of socialism doesn't work. Even with teachers, when schools have this grade system every year, 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees increase for everybody. It doesn't work. Some teachers deserve 5,000 every year. Some teachers don't even deserve 500. And not that you're throwing them out because you don't have anybody else. So you keep them, but don't at least, reward them the same way. Because the good teachers, then they lose initiative. So these are the certain things by which you can reduce attrition. You can have teachers attracted to your schools and remain with your schools. And work really from their heart. Thank you.
I think, thanks madam. I think few really good takeaways from your discussion. One, I believe that we know an old proverb, if a male is educated, he alone is educated. That time the proverb was, if a female is educated, the whole family is educated. But now I'm adding one more thing, if a female is educated, the whole society is educated. So I think that is what you mentioned. Then, the bureaucracy system should be reduced. I'm not saying that can go away, but that means you have to make your school one of the best schools and give a lot of freedom to the teachers. I